Most people picture Hitler at the Eagle's Nest, but he spent over 800 days at the Wolf's Lair. That headquarters saw more action than any other. For 7 decades, experts thought they understood every secret weapon Nazi Germany created during World War II. V-2 rockets, jet aircraft, late-war miracle weapons that couldn't turn the tide. Everything seemed cataloged and analyzed. Then in April 1945, American troops forced open a concealed German hangar. Inside waited something impossible, an aircraft beyond anything they'd encountered. Engineered with technology 40 years ahead of its era, capable of feats no contemporary plane could match. That day's discovery stayed under wraps for generations. The explanation behind the secrecy will stun you. But first, let's trace the story back to its true origin, the flying wing concept. Everything began with 2 German siblings whose radical vision baffled everyone. Walter and Raymar Horten came of age in the 1920s, when military planes were banned in Germany. The Treaty of Versailles had forbidden them after World War I. Yet the treaty stayed silent on gliders, winged craft without motors. So glider flying swept across the nation. The Horten brothers devoted weekends to hillside construction and launches of basic wooden airframes. While others treated it as recreation, the brothers spotted an odd pattern. Every aircraft worldwide followed identical architecture: elongated fuselage, lateral wings, rear tail assembly, upright stabilizers. Yet all those components generated drag, slowing everything down. More drag demanded larger engines and heavier fuel loads just to stay airborne. The Hortens envisioned something revolutionary. What if you eliminated everything but the wing? No distinct fuselage, no tail surfaces, no vertical fins, just a massive swept wing handling lift, control, and internal storage. Simple in theory, unprecedented in practice. They began modestly, crafting prototypes in their family's garage from inexpensive plywood and adhesive. Flight tests proved these unconventional shapes glided smoother and longer than conventional designs. Scaling a hobby project to battlefield weapon demanded resources they lacked. Creating something so ambitious needed vast funding, skilled labor, and years of development. Resources Germany simply couldn't spare. Engineers pitched daring concepts, but materials stayed scarce amid competing demands. Finally, in 1943, the brothers secured funding and support. By then, Germany's position had deteriorated sharply. The nation bled on multiple fronts. RAF and USAAF raids leveled cities nightly. Production facilities burned while the Luftwaffe exhausted aircraft and crews. Hermann Göring, commander of German air forces, desperately sought a game-changer. He issued an outrageous directive to every aviation firm: Project 3 × 1,000. The specifications seemed straightforward: 1,000 kilograms of ordnance, 1,000-kilometer range, 1,000-kilometer-per-hour speed. Consider the absurdity. Top fighters barely hit 700 kilometers per hour in terminal dives. Bombers crawled at roughly 400. Firms like Messerschmitt and Junkers dismissed Göring as delusional. Conventional piston power plants couldn't approach those figures. Emerging jets offered speed but consumed fuel catastrophically fast, falling short of range requirements. The engineering simply didn't add up, except the Horten brothers identified a solution others missed. Their flying wing generated dramatically less drag than orthodox designs. Lower drag translated to superior fuel economy at extreme velocities. Only their configuration might satisfy all 3 criteria. They drafted HO 229 schematics and submitted them. Göring didn't reject or ridicule the proposal. What followed propelled German aeronautics into technology unavailable again for 4 decades. The Phantom aircraft. Göring granted full approval, unlimited budget. Absolute material priority. The brothers commandeered components from rival programs, recruited elite talent, and operated without bureaucratic interference. Their creation achieved something unprecedented in aviation history: radar evasion. Capturing American engineers examined the HO 229 and immediately puzzled over its construction. They anticipated aluminum and steel construction, typical of wartime aircraft, but discovered plywood laminates. The entire wing comprised thin wood veneers bonded together with steel framework sheathed in timber. Initially, they attributed it to metal shortages from prolonged warfare. Partially correct, but overlooking the true genius. Reimar Horten understood British radar principles. Ground stations emitted radio pulses that rebounded off metallic airframes, registering as blips to provide early warning. Wooden structures interacted differently with electromagnetic waves. Signals penetrated timber rather than reflecting sharply. The brothers enhanced this property further, incorporating charcoal powder and wood shavings into interlayer adhesives. Decades later, analysis confirmed carbon absorption converted radar energy to heat rather than echo returns. The HO-229 became aviation's first true stealth platform, engineered for radar invisibility. Invisibility represented only half the innovation. Its intended mission proved far more sinister: the subterranean factories. American intelligence uncovered the chilling objective through documents secured from facility vaults. Records revealed the HO-229 transcended conventional fighter or bomber roles, precisely engineered for 1,000-kilogram ordnance capacity. That figure aligned perfectly with a covert German weapon project, the radiological dispersal device. Germany never perfected fission weapons like those America deployed against Japan. Instead, they pursued an alternative. Dirty bombs combined conventional explosives with reactor byproducts. Detonation lacks megaton yields, yet aerosolizes contamination across wide areas, rendering territory uninhabitable for generations. Strategic denial, not structural annihilation. The HO-229 offered ideal delivery. Extreme velocity ensured radar detection mere minutes before impact, denying meaningful defensive response. Captured manifests identified primary targets. London, advancing Anglo-American forces through Belgium. Most alarming, schematics for an enlarged variant, the HO-18, triple the span, 6 turbojets, transatlantic range targeting Manhattan or the capital. Mass production appeared infeasible amid relentless strategic bombing campaigns. Unless production relocated beyond aerial reach, the appropriated tomorrow. Germany shifted manufacturing underground, immune to high-altitude ordnance. Deep within Poland's Owl Mountains, prisoners from forced labor camps excavated vast tunnel networks through granite. Designated Rees Giant, the enterprise claimed tens of thousands of lives. These weren't mere caverns. Kilometer-long galleries accommodated rail transport. Ceiling heights swallowed locomotives whole. Excavations accommodated industrial machinery foundations, massive forced air systems, and generators powering continuous assembly. Complete subterranean aviation production offered strategic invulnerability. But deadlines expired. February 18, 1945. Test pilot Erwin Ziller launched the second HO-229 prototype from 800 meters altitude. Starboard power plant ignited. Ziller exhausted all recovery procedures. Tailless configuration lacked stabilizing surfaces, and asymmetric thrust induced uncontrollable rotation. The aircraft impacted fatally. Ziller perished. Prototype consumed by conflagration. 3 weeks later, American forces overran Friedrichshafen. The third HO-229 awaited in its assembly shed. Nearly complete, never airborne. Methodically disassembled, crated, and repatriated stateside. The artifact languished in Smithsonian vaults for generations. Meanwhile, Northrop Grumman adapted Horten wingform principles for the B-2 Spirit. 2009 radar trials using HO-229 replicas against World War II systems confirmed near-total undetectability, registering as avians rather than heavy combatants. Germany surrendered, yet Horten innovations endured, defining subsequent aeronautics. Ultimately, the weapon potentially capable of altering World War II's trajectory never engaged. The HO-229 remained concealed, incomplete, abandoned amid the collapsing Reich. If you like this video, ensure you give it a thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, because we will be uploading more crazy stories like this one in the coming weeks. Until then, see you later.